Hi everyone, so we're back for part 2 of the um, for I guess a mini review of the um, SmallRig Z9 L bracket. Um, so as you, if you're here, then you're probably aware of the first part of um, the first part of the review, where I I unboxed it, the thing, installed it, and found a few annoyances that's almost a deal breaker for the device. But having gone through a couple of one Japanese video that talks about this thing, and again, playing around a bit more, um, I've discovered a couple, I've changed my perception of the product somewhat in a more positive light. Although I still think there are a couple things that SmallRig can change probably in a future iteration of this product, so that it becomes more becomes better, at least in my opinion. All right, so one thing that I probably need to mention, like right off the bat, it doesn't have the QD system. The QD system that's usually found in other products like RRS and Kirk Enterprises. So they don't have that. To me, it's not really a deal breaker. I never really used the QD system for my camera equipment. So I never use any of those straps that uses any of those. So that's not a deal breaker. So that's one. So probably you won't you will not notice, or but to me it's a huge deal, right? Is that this surface area of the plate, the base plate, is actually rubber. So what does that mean, right? So for the cheaper, any cheaper L bracket or any of these L plate, well, even the base plate that you can find in Amazon or any of the or eBay or any run of the mill product, they don't have this part. And this is important because it doesn't, for something like this, right, it won't scratch this portion, which will where the camera will be coming in contact with the base plate. So so that's one of the things that's probably worth noting. And the second one, again, this is a fairly minor thing, but I noticed it as I just played around this more. This part is somewhat lightly textured. I guess well, it's not enough to assist on the grip or whatever, but it gives you this matte finish that it's I don't know, to me it's a nice, whether it's aesthetic or functional, I don't know, but either way it's a nice touch, at least for me. So the third thing I probably would want to mention is that is this screws, right? So this is the one that is attached to the tripod socket right here, right? That's obvious enough. And in my initial video, I also mentioned this part. This is the anti-twist screw, which I originally thought was it would just apply pressure on the base plate so that it won't twist. Actually, it's a little, but when I read about it, it's actually a little bit more than that. This actually goes through that hole, right? So once this is latched on in here, it will not actually twist. And the nice thing about this is that screw that goes into that, because that's metal right there, it's not it's smoothened out. It's not like sharp edge. I'm not sure if you can see it here. Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't, whatever. But like, that's, to me, again, that's a, like, you know, attention to detail that, like, that's actually, again, nice touch for that. SmallRig did that. And so what these, well, before I go to the positive aspects, now again, I'm like, you know, there are like up and coming competing products from RRS and Kirk, and at least for RRS, the one that is probably better than this is that they the RS, I think, does not, well, it does take advantage of this, but they also have another, the anti-twist, not, well, nubbin, I don't know, for the lack of a better term, like that's over here on this side, which will match this, right? And to me, that's, again, this is the RS. It doesn't, you cannot find it here because it doesn't have that thing. So the RS is probably a better design, because with that you could be absolutely confident that the thing will not twist, right? It will be like a perfect fit on the camera. And the somewhat annoyance about this is that when you try to attach the thing, you can, you will have to first line up the screw like slightly protruding like that, so that you will latch on like that, right? And then only then you can screw the rest of this part on, so that gives you like confidence that you've attached it like the correct way, and it's not going to damage your camera, right? So okay, so again, like with this in place, with those two screws in place, you'll be confident that it's, well, somewhat, it's still not as good as the RS, I think, but it's probably for most cases it's good enough. Now the other thing that I criticized about this design is that this part, right, it's latched onto this, so this part is no longer kind of like free, as opposed to this, right? Where now, here's the thing, right? Like, you know, again, to give the SmallRig credit, they did, like, you know, design this so that you could keep this part, but when you actually like in the manual, they're sort of expecting you to remove it. I don't know, I'm not doing that because, like, you know, it's a pain in the ass to remove this, and then I use a strap, and I prefer the strap on the camera rather on the plate, so I'm not doing that. But then again, with SmallRig, at least they did accommodate the fact that you will do this. Again, I stand by my opinion that it may not be a sound decision to do that, but again, it's time will tell, right, whether that's a bad design or not. The only thing, so this is right, it's, I don't know if that, it's like, you know, you can open the thing, right? The part that's also slightly annoying for me is that if I try, I can't, there's no way to do this, right? I need to remove this, and then only then you can do that slightly, like yeah, so that's the only time where you can remove this part. um, Again, not like a real deal breaker for me. I mean, I rarely, again, I'm not really planning to use this as a video cam anyway, so it's not much of annoyance for me. But I need to mention though, that at least RRS did this right. It's like they have like a small cutout here that allows you to get your at least finger in there and be able to pry that cover open. Again, another point for the RRS for doing that. And one of the last thing, and again, I feel, well, I'm no structural engineer, right? So I don't know if this is a pro or a con. So again, compared to the RRS, compared to the competitors, theirs is slightly thicker here, right? And it allows this portion to be more rigid, when especially when you're doing the vertical. And not only that, like even if you have this extended slightly a bit, so for tethered shooting, the RRS, again, the RRS at least is thicker here, that it accommodates like, you know, more rigidity for it. Now the SmallRig is, as you can see, it's slimmer, right? This is actually thinner than what they have on the on their Z6 L plate. Is it enough, right? For, I mean, I know, I mean, I know the advantages, right? It's slightly more contoured to the body. It's, I don't know, slightly less bulky, slightly lighter. But is that at the expense of the rigidity of this portion of the of the plate, especially when you're mounting it vertically with a heavy lens or heavy accessories, with it like, you know, flex this part. And again, this is, well, the thing here is that it doesn't lean on to this part, so nothing here. So I'm sorry if I cannot explain this in a better manner, but ultimately, when it's on the vertical, mounted on vertically, it would still need to rely on the rigidity of this portion of the L bracket. It's not taking advantage of any, like, you know, like something that allows it to lean on the camera a little bit so that it will be more rigid. It doesn't have that. It would still rely on this. Again, is this strong enough? Maybe for me it will be, right? You know, I mean, I've never had any problems yet. I like, you know, I haven't, to be fair, to be absolutely transparent, I haven't really done any critical tests on, like, you know, oh, like, you know, in a macro mode, whether, like, you know, vertical, is there more vibration than this or without or whatever. I haven't done that, but it looks to be fine. Would I have preferred something thicker? Absolutely, because, like, you know, to me it like, when you looking at it, like, you know, gives you confidence that it's rigid enough. I mean, I'm willing to pay for, like, you know, the weight, a slightly change of weight, or like slightly bulk, because again, you're looking at a huge ass camera already. A little bit bulk in here is not really gonna make much of a difference, like, if it means it's more rigid like that. Now, all right, so the last thing I probably want to talk about is that this is the one, I mean, I'm not gonna take credit for it. I, like, you know, I watched, like, you know, some Japanese guy's video doing a sort of review of this thing, and I figured I'd mention here. All right, so again, the design of this is not like there are the L plates, where for you to be able to use this vertically in tethered shooting or whatever, right, you know, whether horizontally or tethered, you need to actually remove the entire thing, like not even like, you know, move it a little bit, right? You have to remove the entire thing, and I'll explain why. So you will actually, and this, I'm sort of like, you know, dying inside as I'm doing this, because I don't know why SmallRig thought it was a good design. So you have to remove this, and then you see that arrow right there, you have to put that thing in there. Good God, this is so clunky. See, I can't even put it in there now. Why? All right. What? SmallRig, why you do this? All right. So you do this, you put that in, so you could now do this, right? And just do this and annoy the shit out of everyone. Yes. By doing that now, you could attach this part. Oh wait, I'm losing the camera, right? Now you have this. See, I could flex it a little already. Okay, so, but yeah, I mean, you have it so that you could mount it like vertically like this. Ooh, I'm not gonna use it like this. I'm not. No way. I think, I mean, I'm not even applying a lot of force, and I could flex it a little already. I don't like that. Anyway, so I mean, that's the reason why they don't have this. So in conclusion, do I like this L bracket? Again, it does the job. Would I wanted it to be better? Yes, absolutely. I shouldn't have to do this if I mean, to me, this is, even though I'm annoyed by the way SmallRig did this, I'm not that annoyed, because I never really shoot at this, like I never use my camera tethered. But for anyone doing tethered shooting, I cannot, I don't know, I'm not sure I could recommend this at any capacity. Like, you know, this is not rigid enough to sustain something that where it won't flex. It does yeah, no, yeah, it's not really it. And this, to me, this is very annoying. If I have to do this every time I want to do tethered shooting, it's like, no, yeah. So I'm, again, not a fan of that. For me, I'll be using this anyway for the time being, until I don't know, I break down and get the RRS anyway. But yeah, for if you are not going to use tethered shooting, I think it's fine for what it is. But for anything else, I'd probably go for the RRS bracket. Anyway, so hopefully this again, I know this is longer, but hopefully this in addition to the previous video, it would help you decide whether this is the bracket that you need for your Z9. In any case though, please, like, you know, if you're buying a Z9, you should really get an L bracket. I know I sound like I'm gatekeeping, but it really breaks my heart when I see when I see YouTubers, like, you know, having like a huge, like, you know, nice Z9, and then they use that dinky, like, small Arca Swiss plate. I mean, guys, what are you doing? Anyway, that's enough for me. Until next time.